In honor of September being Suicide Prevention Month, I'd love to talk about death and suicide from the artistic point of view of an avid participant. Now, death has always been a stubborn muse, lingering in lines of poetry and in the eyes of paintings. To talk about death is to talk about breath itself, only inverted. And when we exhale, it is the, reminder of the inevitable exhale. Some people talk about death as an abrupt ending, but I personally have seen it as a quiet companion, humming softly in the background. But suicide, though, suicide is self reaching for silence in a world that just won't stop screaming. I have sat at death's table more times than I can remember. Sometimes not as a guest, sometimes I am the chef. But one thing I will tell you is there is a peculiar intimacy in contemplating suicide. And this is an intimacy that the world usually mistakes for recklessness. But the truth is that to consider ending your life is to wrestle with its deepest meaning. Alright, it's not laziness, it's not cowardice, it's not a sin. It is you asking yourself a very terrible but brilliant and impossible question. The question of, what if I stopped existing? There are times when the thoughts comes not as violence but as mercy, as a form of release. And the hardest thing to confess is how something so final can feel so gentle. You see, to want an end to life is not always about hating life. Sometimes it's about being too tired to hold on to it anymore. Though September is Suicide Prevention Month, for those who live with the thought, suicide does not obey the calendar. It follows you everywhere, laughs in the mirror, and even crawls into your bed at night. And yet, there is resistance in survival. I am still here today, maybe out of stubbornness, but living is its own form of defiance. In fact, speaking about it is a form of rebellion. So I think what is left for us that are participants in this shadow play is to keep creating, to keep living, to keep on keeping on, to hold each other's hands with words or with silence, and just be there for each other to make the unbearable bearable. Now, I'm not trying to romanticize the idea of living, but I'm trying to strip the shame that has been attached to it. I'm trying to admit that sometimes survival is not chasing joy, but about choosing to stay in spite of the aches that you feel. Suicide prevention for me is not a hotline or a cool slogan. It's the daily, quiet decision to breathe again. And if you're struggling, I really hope that you make the decision to breathe again. Stay strong.